It is Wednesday, September 13th, and the Give and Go Show is back in your life. My name is Griffin Queen, as always, joined by Matt Modi and Matt Ferentinos and super producer Elliot Shiatani. Matt Ferentinos, welcome back. It's been a few weeks without you. We've got a bunch of stuff that we're going to go through today, but before we jump into that, as always, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the like button on the video itself, and comment below if you have any questions or comments on anything that we talk about. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, comment it below. We'll talk about it on a future episode, or we'll get it into this episode. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you click the follow button, and if you have not done so already, please rate and review. This is not going to be a basketball heavy episode, so I'm just going to get out ahead of that one now. So if you tune into us to listen to basketball takes, you can click out of this right now, unless you want to hear what else we've got to talk about. Ferentinos is back from Italy, so we're going to have him talk about that a little bit. The One Piece live action, we talked about it a little bit last week. We are going to talk about it in depth this week. We're going to talk about season 1 now that we've all finished it. So here's your preemptive spoiler alert. If you have not watched One Piece and you do intend on watching One Piece, when we get to that section of the stream, just click out of it. Just mute us for a little bit. We're also going to do a game that Elliot came up with where he's going to show us a picture on the screen. It's going to be a series of Pokemon, and we're going to try and figure out what starting 5 those Pokemon represent. This might be potentially, probably, almost definitely the nerdiest thing we've done on the pod so far. So I'm looking forward to that. And then before we wrap, Modi has a Sixers take that he wants to hit us with. And then, any questions or topics that come in from the audience. So if you are watching, make sure you join us in the chat. Make sure you say what's up. And if you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. We're going to kick it off. Ferentinos, again, welcome back. How was Italy?
Yeah, it's good to be back. As the Italians say, ciao.
That's how they say break it into ciao. Yeah, they put their hand up in the air and they go ciao
in a very American accent.
Bippity boppity, boppity boopity. We made that
getting right into the right into the stereotypes. All right.
It's funny. Yeah, I'll get to what grinds my gears about Italy, but to start with, to hit the highlights, I'm a part of the Engage gang now, so that was pretty awesome.
Welcome, glad to have you,
Griffin. If you just waited until like a month later, we all would have been in the Engage Club in the year 2023.
I got engaged last December.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 1 month after.
Oh, in 2023. Sorry, I thought you meant in this portion of 2023. You're right. If I had waited till January, then we would have been the 2023 club. But then I feel like it's kind of likely that I would have not been able to get a venue in 2024, which is what I really wanted to do.
Fair.
As I'm already starting to discover as a new member of the Engage gang, but no, Italy was incredible. I mean, that was definitely the highlight of the trip. But we had a sick wedding that we went to in Florence, out in the countryside of Tuscany. That was incredible. I mean, highlights on the trip. If you guys are going to Rome, got to see the Colosseum. I will say the inside is not as great as the outside, but still worth it. I mean, you get to have your Spartacus moment. It's just awesome to be there.
That's a big reference for
Elliot,
super producer Elliot Shiatani, who I think Spartacus might be his favorite show ever.
Really? I don't know if we've delving into this, but I love Spartacus. I must.
Well, we don't. When you're on the episodes, we don't let him talk, so there's no way that we're gonna delve into it. But we can talk about it. We can talk about it later.
I've never seen it. Don't know anything about it.
Oh, have you never seen Spartacus? Oh, we should do. We should.
Have you seen the OG? Modi, have you seen the old classic movie?
No.
Have you seen
incredible show?
What's the Warrior Princess? Lucy Lawless? Yeah, right.
Like the Disney Channel movie?
No.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of.
Xena
Hercules? That's Xenon. Xenon, Girl of the Future.
Okay.
Zetus Lapidus.
They sound pretty similar, just saying.
Yeah. No, Xena is kind of like fantasy, medieval-ish, right?
It's a movie. It's a show.
It's a TV show. It was like a long-running TV show.
It was like late 80s, right?
I've never even heard of
At
it.
the same time as the Kevin Sorbo Hercules show. They were on at the same time, but Xena was way more popular. I
Lucy
imagine you're
Lawless is
building
the
up.
reason why.
Yeah, she's the main character in that. She's like a nerd icon. She gets naked in Spartacus.
Oh, that sounds awful.
So-
What's her name? That's disgusting.
Lucy Lawless. She's super hot.
Don't know who that is.
She's in a Euro
Don't
trip
mind
too.
me.
Yeah,
This is good.
everyone. That is a good point. Elliot's saying in the chat, everyone gets naked in Spartacus. That is a good point.
Is it like Game of
You will
Thrones?
see a lot of naked people.
A
It's
lot
like
of
Game of
nudity.
Thrones.
Yep.
It's like it's kind of like a cheesy. It's like a cheesier Game of Thrones, like similar like sex and violence and gore and all that.
Yeah,
but
honestly,
like
a lot of, like,
definitely leans into the ridiculousness of it all.
It is the soap opera feel, kind of with like the drama
Yeah.
and everything, and like the plot lines, but like the violence is great. And then the prequel I thought was dope with Gannicus. Oh, fantastic show. So back to Rome. So yeah, you gotta go to the Colosseum. Gotta throw a coin in the Trevi Fountain. Hit the Pantheon. I mean, get some gelato. Fantastic. If you're in Florence, I highly recommend getting tickets to L'Accademia so you can see the David. You could take a photo and do like the SpongeBob meme, draw like the nose, be like, that's art, because it's awesome. And it's just really cool to see.
Make me really sad right now.
Florence is just an incredible city. Like the vibe of it. It's definitely a little bougier. Rome definitely feels more like a city in parts that like have really cool ruins that are surrounding it. But Florence itself, like the architecture and all the buildings, the culture, everything there is great. Yeah, I mean, if you go to Italy, gotta hit that. And then Capri is freaking beautiful, like the Amalfi Coast, hitting the water down there. Yeah,
That's where you got engaged, yeah?
Yep, that's the spot where I joined the club, and
I saw the pictures from your engagement, and it is one of the most like picturesque engagements I've ever seen. It almost looked like you guys got engaged in front of a green screen because the background behind you was so incredible and so like vibrant that it put everybody else's engagement photos to shame.
Literally, yeah, it looked like a Windows desktop background in the best, most complimentary way. Just like I like couldn't believe it. It's like, oh, I'm pretty sure I have seen it on there because they usually take pictures of like the most beautiful places on the earth. And yeah, I had a few people that were like, dude, I thought you were in Greece because it looks just like a Greek island as well. It was just beautiful there. And I'm Italian and Greek, so I could say that. There's no disrespect between the two cultures.
No disrespect.
But yeah, I mean, ate my fill of pizza. I highly recommend if you go there, taking like a pasta class. The great thing about like Airbnb and other like travel sites, if you use it, is there's usually like experiences that you can book along with it. And yeah, making pasta was sick. I really want to get a pasta guitar because making fettuccine using that was pretty sweet. Very satisfying.
Say that one more time. A pasta what?
Pasta guitar.
That's what it's called.
You like roll out the dough, you like spread it on the guitar, and then because you like strum it kind of like a guitar, and then the pasta falls through, and that's like how it makes the fettuccine.
I was just
Like the wide like spaghetti.
Is the pizza significantly better? Like, is it if you were like to have a like Italian pizza versus one here, would you be like, would you actually know the Italian one's way better?
I mean, and as an Italian, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a little sick of the pizza. I think like a margarita with bufalo mozzarella cheese is like the best thing you can get. But honestly, like a New York slice, that might be my favorite. Like, or even like a New Jersey slice, like that cheese pizza that you just fold. Like, there's something about that. I don't know.
I mean,
and I love
let's call it like it is. Americans crush the pizza game. We're, Italians might feel otherwise if they're straight up from Italy, but I think we do a pretty good job with our pizza. I do have a question, circling back to Rome a little bit. I've never been, I really haven't spent any time in Europe at all, and I've definitely never been to Rome. I often hear when people do like Euro trips or they do that entire portion of the world, they always say that Rome's a little bit overrated because there's like a lot of tourist stuff there. They know that a lot of their like money at this point is going to come from tourism. I assume you've been before, so you may have already had a take on this. Is Rome like a tourist trap? Like, does it actually feel like you're genuinely like engaging with the culture, or is it all just Americans as far as the eye can see?
No, I mean, there's definitely a lot of tourists, but I'd say it's like New York City in that way. It'd be like that equivalent where like, yeah, there's a lot of tourists walking around, but there's also a lot of New Yorkers walking around. So
Sure.
That's the kind of the vibe. And yeah, I mean, I was definitely speaking very conversational Italian for a while, and I was very happy to come home and not have to do that. But Dove il bagno, that's a good one. Where's the bathroom? Yeah. That one never fails.
Just yell bagno and people are going to know what you're saying.
And then just like looking Italian, I felt like the worst Italian ever because people would come up and like start speaking really fast and like definitely ask me stuff if they were like on the bus. And I was just like, sono americano.
I got that a lot. I got that a lot. Almost 10 years ago at this point, when I was in Israel, people would come up to me and they'd either start speaking Arabic or they'd start speaking Hebrew. And I'd be like, no, like, I understand that I might, because at this point, this was midsummer. Like, I'd been at the beach all year.
Probably,
I was dark.
Yeah.
I was the darkest man in Israel. And so people were coming up to me thinking that I'd lived there my entire life. I'm like, I've been here for 4 days. I'm sorry. Like, my sister has a little bit of conversational Hebrew. I sure as shit don't.
Lifeguard at pool. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just tan.
Elliot's telling us in the chat when he worked in Wheaton at the Target, people would divert to his lane and start speaking Spanish to him. I have never in my life looked at Elliot and said, that's a Hispanic man.
He's very clearly Asian, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. Like
we in our friend circle, we would refer to Elliot as vaguely Asian. Because he is mixed, but I mean maybe people confuse him for Hispanic. I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on in Wheaton. I couldn't tell you.
Wheaton's a lawless place.
Overall, Ferentinos, though, your trip, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, 12 out of 10. Definitely beyond
man.
10 out of 10. Just still flying high from everything. Managed to watch the entire live action One Piece on my flight back. It was pretty sweet because we couldn't swing.
Don't tell Griffin that.
Because I know the viewing format was not the best and the most optimal way to do it, but
can we just acknowledge that? Like, before we jump into the One Piece thing, let's just acknowledge. I don't have to be right about this, but I also don't think I'm wrong about this. Like,
well, okay. If
viewing things that you're interested in that you have not seen before on a plane, to me, is insane.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I think there's certain people that are very particular about like the quality of the TV and stuff. I'm not one of those people. So like, it's like, I can hear the wind blowing, not the wind, whatever, the air from the airplane. It's not. Right. I'm watching it on my phone, but like I can still hear it. I can still see it. How else are you going to spend? I don't know, 4, 6, 8 hours on a plane?
I mean, that was me. I was like, it's exactly
dreading my impending demise.
8 episodes or whatever, and they're all around an hour, and like the
perfect. You wipe out the whole thing.
Like 9-10 hours. Like literally, I was like, "Yep, like this is perfect. I can just get locked in." I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrified of flying in the air, like 38,000 feet. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like just like Buzz Lightyear, we're all like
flying.
We're all following the style. This
is going to be
really
a confusing statement. But the flying aspect of air travel is the only part of it that I do enjoy. Like, I understand that doesn't make sense. I don't like being on the plane. Like, I don't like being cramped. I don't like the recycled air, the lines, like all that. I don't even necessarily always like getting to my destination because
you can't even smoke on planes anymore.
Right, I can't smoke on a plane. I really want to take up smoking cigarettes, but they just won't let me. But the turbulence is maybe my favorite thing. Like, I love my dogs, I love coffee, I love Julia, and I love turbulence. Like, that's my big 4.
Awful take.
I get that's crazy. That's way more insane than my take on watching things on planes.
I was gonna say, for someone who doesn't like other people living their lives. The turbulence is what you'll go to, what you'll stand for. Is
yeah, it's just I don't know. Like things start getting shaky and everyone starts gripping their like seats, and I'm like, let's go. This is the best part. And people look at me like I'm insane. And when I say it out loud, it's because I think I actually maybe am insane. I get that I should not like turbulence to the degree that I do.
It's just like when you're bored in the plane and you just like hear like the like creaks and you're like, that sounded rusty. I don't know. We're about to get this thing up in the air.
Is everything screwed in?
Yeah. Well, that's to my point last week. Like people that watch either plane going down media or like hijacking media on planes, like that's way worse. Because you're like putting it in your head that something is going to happen to you on this plane. And anyone who's sitting anywhere near you that sees it out of their corner of their eye, that's all they're thinking about the rest of the trip.
And what usually calms me down, the same thing as roller coasters, if I see like a 10-year-old kid just like chilling, I'm like, all right, they're not freaking out. So what am I freaking out for? And then
I have more fear with roller coasters than I do with planes.
I think that's reasonable.
I mean, yeah, because roller coasters.
I feel like the quality control
There's a lot
on
more deaths
planes
on roller coasters than there are.
The quality control on planes is so much more significant than it is on roller coasters run by a bunch of 15-year-old burnouts.
When you see the people working at like Six Flags, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
They're not the engineers, but still.
I trust the people who built this roller coaster. I don't necessarily trust the people that maintain this roller coaster.
Yeah,
we've all paid attention to safety training, so we know how much they know.
That's my life, dude.
Hopefully the safety training is a little different when you're in a corporate job and the safety is like getting hemorrhoids for sitting for too long versus
what safety trainings are you watching where they're worried about your potential hemorrhoids?
I'm just talking, not on them.
Just spitballing, just saying things.
Well, I couldn't think of an actual example of safety training, so I just like went 10 out of 10 ridiculous.
I'll tell you the big one is probably sexual harassment. Not to be a bummer, but like, protect yourself from unwanted advances, usually from your boss.
Yep.
You guys want to talk about One Piece?
Well, does it make sense to just get the basketball out of the way so that way it's just total? Because it's not going to take long. It's not like a very it's not a crazy take.
It's just a take on the Sixers, right? You have a Sixers take.
It's a Sixers / Joel Embiid take, and it was born from the Zach Lowe or either the Zach Lowe or a Sixers podcast that I listened to. I feel like it would be malpractice if he doesn't play for Team USA in the Olympics next year. I don't know if that's like a hot take or like
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, because he could play for France, for Team USA, or for Cameroon.
Sure.
Right. I get like the injury thing, but I feel like Joel Embiid, he like just comes into the season out of shape. Play him like 20 minutes a game for Team USA. He's clearly going to be their best center. Like they don't have a big man. That was the biggest issue with FIBA was the Grizzlies guy, Jaren Jackson Jr. fouled a lot. He couldn't get a rebound. I feel like Embiid, and just as a player, would benefit. Like, let's see how LeBron at age 40 prepares. Let's see what like Kevin Durant and play with Steph Curry, where in a situation where he doesn't need to be the leading scorer, I feel like it could really help him just as an overall basketball player. So aside from the health factor, like what is the logic for him not playing for Team USA? Just because he wants to represent like, I don't know, France or Cameroon?
Yeah, I think that'd be the best thing for his game. I mean, just to quickly jump ahead, Griffin. I mean, like a lot of people talked about the Redeem team and how like just working with Kobe as a veteran and just working with all the superstars and seeing how they prepare for things, like being with someone like LeBron, who clearly wants to take a leadership role in this team and like assembling the Avengers. I think it would be a good thing, but yeah, I'm just curious if Joel Embiid would go for that or if he wouldn't want to play for another country. I'm not sure what his like take on it is. I haven't like followed that closely.
He's always, and Griffin, you can go next. He's always said he would play for France, but he's never played in any type of international because because of health reasons. Like, dude, I can promise you're not going to be playing deep into the postseason. Just play for Team USA. Like countless NBA athletes talk about what type of experience they had and how much it helped their game playing for Team USA. Like, I feel like if like this part's like, I don't actually believe this, but if he was serious about like improving his game, play for Team USA, like play with the best of the best, schmooze up with the best players in the world.
I have three immediate reactions. Two of them are to things that the two of you just said. Modi, I love that you said, I promise you will not be going deep into the postseason about your star player on your favorite team.
Well, yeah.
They've broken you entirely, and I truly feel bad about that. Ferentinos, I love, and I know some people have been doing this, but I'm going to give you full credit for it. I love that you referred to them as the Avengers, because everyone's been like, so we called the 08 team the Redeem team because of 04. What are we going to call the 2024 team? I think the Avengers is the absolute appropriate name for them. Yeah, I mean, like,
it's awesome.
The whole thing, like, if we can't save the world, we can damn sure avenge it. That's how this team should feel about their international play right now. Granted, LeBron often gets the Thanos comparison, so there's some diciness there, but that's neither here nor there. To the actual point being made, I think it would be malpractice for him to not play international ball. I do not necessarily think he needs to play for Team USA. I actually don't think he should play for Team USA if he's looking for, I guess, a role of importance. Like, obviously he would be important to Team USA, but I think like we would all kind of look at it as a soft move if this is his time doing international ball is the same time that every other superstar does. At least that's how I would look at it a little bit. When he could play for France or he could play for Cameroon. I don't even know if Cameroon has qualified for the Olympics, so obviously France would probably make more sense. France could end up having a pretty decent team, and I think he might be the guy to put them over the edge. I would respect that way more than just being an additional superstar to play for the U.S. But all that being said, it would be good for him to play for any team just to get that experience and to come into the season in shape for once.
Yeah, I guess I feel like it'd be better for his game if he played for Team USA than it would be for Team France. Because just like he kind of seems, I don't know, like I feel like all the superstars in the NBA, it's like a frat club. And Embiid's kind of out of that, even though he's like, I don't know, top 5 player in the NBA. Like, he just doesn't seem to have the same like cachet as everybody else. Like, on the court, yeah, but a lot of this stuff happens off the court, especially when, like, I'm not necessarily saying he should like try and schmooze up to team up with a superstar. I just think that he kind of separates himself from the best players in the NBA. Not quite to the level that Jokic does, but Jokic is an alien. I don't think he even cares. Like, an Embiid, and Jokic also got his ring, where Embiid still, like, he's like a laughing stock now. He won the MVP, and nobody respects him anymore, which is fine. I'm not saying they should. I just think it'd be better for his game if he played for Team USA.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely an argument that he could be built. Like, people always say with these international teams, or with like the USA select teams and all that these guys go and they try and convince people to join them for super teams. Not that Bradley Beal is on the level of Embiid, because even the best version of Bradley Beal was not on the level of Embiid. But Bradley Beal was coming off of 2 really great scoring seasons, and he was supposed to be on Team USA going into the Olympics. And then because of his vaccination status, he got COVID, wasn't on the team anymore, ended up not building those relationships with players that people thought he was going to. Not like that was the thing that spelled doom in Washington, but it certainly doesn't help when you're a team that is struggling to convince free agents to come sign with you. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument that it would be a good thing both for Embiid and for the Sixers if Embiid played for Team USA. It would also probably be the safest move for him if the intention is to limit his minutes and limit injury concerns. Because on France, I guess he'd be splitting time with Gobert at the 5. Yeah. I mean, actually, at that point, you could split their minutes.
It's true.
Gobert is a good international center, but I don't know what their relationship is, if they have a relationship at all. Obviously, Embiid doesn't want Gobert on his team, so.
Yeah, I guess I think it'd be helpful for him to be on the court and not be the focal offensive option, because that's never been the case. Like, even with Harden, it was late career Harden whose whole role was to dish it, like to set up Embiid, and then with Simmons would just hide in the corner. So yeah, that was my take. I forget. They definitely talked about it on the Zach Lowe podcast, and my Sixers podcast also talked about it. I can't remember which one said, like, specifically he should do it to just see what other superstar, like how they work, how they prep, all that stuff. Just be around winners and see what you learn.
Yeah. I mean, I get the thinking behind it. I guess he could do it for any one of those. Like, I don't really know how the international rules work for those teams. Like, I know for some of the different competitions, you need to have like citizenship in different places, or you need to be able to prove like lineage in certain places. I honestly think for the Olympics, they don't really give a shit if it means somebody can be a non-US player, because we already have the deck stack so far in our favor, which is how you end up getting guys like Jordan Clarkson playing for the Philippines.
I'm pretty sure he has dual citizenship, because I know for a fact he can choose any of those 3 to play for.
Okay.
Like
I mean, I'd be good with any of the 3. Like, just Elliot mentioned that he could play with Siakam
That'd be cool.
if it's Cameron. That'd be a cool set of stars. They kind of occupy some of the same spaces, so I don't necessarily think it would work well. But I'd like to see them on a court together.
Siakam's going to be a free agent. Maybe he can kind of schmooze Siakam.
Do a little recruiting there.
Yeah,
that might be the best option, because that might be the likeliest guy that he would be able to bring to
for
the
max
Sixers.
cap space. Yeah.
Although it could also go the other way, and we could see Embiid in Toronto in 18 months. So
that would be surprising, but yeah, you're probably that is also a possibility.
That would be probably darkest timeline a little bit. Although maybe they'll give you a lot of assets. Who knows?
Is there a Harden update, by the way, in Philly?
No.
Still at the
There's no Harden update. There's no Dame update outside of them saying other teams are looking at Dame, and he's still saying just the Heat. I don't think he's leaving the Blazers.
You don't think he will?
I don't think the Blazers are going to make a deal. Like, I don't think the Heat are going to give them what they want. And I think they are going to try and burn Dame because of the way that he went about this. And I don't 1,000% disagree with the Blazers for doing that, because he killed all of his negotiating value and all of their negotiating value by leaking in the media that he only wants to go to one team.
It's the dumbest thing. We all knew Anthony Davis was going to go to the Lakers, but he at least pretended like he'd be open to going to other teams. And then the Lakers gave up everything. It's the
lie.
It's the dumbest
Why
thing.
don't you lie? Say that you want to go to, like, literally put a list of 8 teams. Tell your guys internally that you want to go to the Heat, and then the Heat will be forced to compete against those teams.
It's so stupid. Between him and Harden, it's the dumbest thing. Like, just pretend. Like, everybody knows you want to go to the one teams, but just don't publicly say it. It's so frustrating how dumb they are. I personally still think both are going to get traded. Right now, there's no reason to. Like, everybody's just in a waiting or a holding pattern. Once things get a little more awkward with training camp and the season starts, I think that either the Sixers / Blazers will get more desperate, or the Heat / Clippers will be like, okay, we want to have some time for these players to gel. But we'll see.
I think Harden was just spotted going outside of a Golden Corral, so I think he's getting ready for training camp.
That makes me want to be better friends with him. I say better friends. That makes me want to be friends with him and then be good friends with him, because clearly he's a man of culture and a man of taste.
Strip club and then buffets. I mean, it's going to be a great night.
At some of these places these guys are going to, they're strip clubs and buffets.
Yeah.
You catch a Golden Corral on the right day in the right city, it's a strip club and a
People
buffet.
People are going to be stripping. That is true.
And probably a little bit of a fight club too. More NBA talk than I expected us to get into. Do you guys want to do the One Piece stuff now?
Let's move on.
All right, hell yeah. So we've all watched it, including super producer Elliot Chiatani. We've all watched all 8 episodes of the live action One Piece. I think I can speak for us all a little bit and say that we loved it.
Oh yeah. Smash.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
2 thumbs up.
It brings I'm so pleased that all of us are in agreement on this. I'm so pleased that we all enjoyed it so much. Obviously we were talking about this a little bit in the chat after you guys wrapped episode 8, and then a little bit more after I did. Just some nitpicks that we had on the season, and then stuff that we're looking forward to season 2. So let's just go off the dome real quick. Highs and lows of the season for all of us. And then if there's anything specific we want to nitpick or anything that we want to look forward to for the next season, we can kind of just go shoot it around a little bit. Ferentinos, highs and lows of season 1 of the live action One Piece. I know you loved it. Tell me what you got.
I mean, the highs were the action. I mean, I thought the action scenes were done really well. I was kind of talking to you a little before about how just it's tough to really do like a live action anime because to try to like translate a lot of like the powers and even just like the tone of the universe, especially in one that's like more cartoony, like in One Piece, the action was so great. Like anytime Luffy did his stretch powers or his gum gum powers, it didn't really seem like it was too out of place and it kind of fit along with everything in the universe. Really like Zoro's scenes anytime he was on screen with the swords. Sanji still being able to use the karate kicks and like making it look awesome. Like anytime there was an action scene and we got like the brawl where you could still do it is very cartoony to have like two guys fight like 30 people at once. But I thought
30 fishmen at once.
Yeah,
not even people.
Yeah.
Fishmen.
Well, they're still people. They're just not.
That's true, but
Let's not be the entire reason the fishmen are angry about things. Let's not be human.
Was it the first episode where they escape from the Navy, and they also have the fight scene there with Zoro,
Morgan,
Luffy,
or whatever,
and then Nami pulls out the stick. Yeah, like I mean, that was like the first kind of like scene where you had like mobs of people coming in. But yeah, I mean, I just loved it. I was literally glued to my phone, not just because I was trying to distract myself from the flight, because of how much I actually really enjoyed all of the characters. I thought they nailed like the tone of their counterparts in the anime and the manga really well too.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll do highs and then we can jump back to lows. It's all good.
Okay. Well, I was going to. I thought the action scenes were all really good except for Luffy. So I guess I'm already getting into the lows. I didn't think they did a great job about capturing how strong Luffy is. I feel like and this is probably also part of the actor isn't quite as dynamic as someone like Nami. And we talked about that. Emily Rudd, we talked about this in the chat, but I felt like he was really good at like
not even a horny thing. She's incredible. She's a great actress. Good.
She's the best, definitely the best actor/actress of the crew, I would say.
Yeah.
And I felt like the actor of Luffy played the goofy parts really well, but the serious parts I kind of felt like felt too forced for the actor himself. And then same with the fight scenes. Like I didn't watch it and think that the CGI was bad. I watched it and thought that they didn't make Luffy as strong as I thought that they did in the anime. And I'm trying to remember because it's so long in terms of the story. Like I guess this is like so much has happened since this part in the actual story of One Piece, like the manga, and he obviously gets a ton stronger as he goes. So I'm trying to remember, like maybe he just wasn't quite as strong at the beginning. So it's possible that I'm being a little bit too nitpicky. And this is like, I love 99% of it. This is if I had to pick something that
he always fought the bosses, but he definitely got worked by the bosses the first few times he fought. I feel like
definitely
he got worked by Arlong a little bit, but Captain Morgan, he dogged.
Yeah.
Buggy, he dogged right away.
Buggy, he dogged once he realized like basically how his powers work.
But even before that, when he just like punched the shit out of him and like took his ship, like Buggy came back and then he had to fight him after that in the manga, at least, or the anime.
Yeah. And I guess I felt like none of that stuff. Like he like in every fight scene with Luffy, he got dogged and then he re-dogged them. And that only really happened with
I like the choice of wording that we've gone with this.
Yeah.
Particularly considering Garp's entire like vibe or whatever is
the dog hood.
The big dog thing that he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Moda, I think I'm a little bit on I'm between you both. I thought the fight scenes generally looked really good, and I really, really liked once Sanji, Taz Skylar was added to the cast. Particularly when him and Zoro were having fight scenes at the same time, like their fishman fight scene where they're both fighting and they're like jumping all over the water area and everything. Really well done. Looked really pretty. The competitiveness between the two of them as characters, like very much captured their dynamic. Pretty violent.
Yeah,
pretty solidly violent. Like they were not knocking guys out; they were killing.
They were killing them.
Yeah. To the point about Luffy, like I do understand a little bit, kind of reducing his strength, like nerfing him a little bit for the live action because, and Elliot mentioned this, like they are stronger than everybody in the East Blue, so the East Blue is kind of a cakewalk for them, and like. I guess anime audiences would be a little bit more used to that, where the protagonist for a little while just dogs everybody. but live action people, like people that don't watch anime, are probably like, why is this so easy for him? I do wish for his fight scenes it wasn't just gum powers and then getting punched and then gum powers. I wish he was just fighting normally a lot of the time, because I think that would make it look better. Like standing still and doing the gum pistol means that it's not a very like dynamic fight scene, in my opinion. It looks cool when he actually does the moves, but he spends a lot of time just getting the shit kicked out of him, and then he does one move and ends the fight. But in terms of my high, like I think I said this when we were talking about the first two episodes, it's got to be the characterization of all the different characters. It feels like every one of these people either perfectly captured who their manga and anime counterparts were, or they maybe even improved on it. Like Nami in the first 50 issues and the first 50 episodes is not a particularly deep character until you see what happens to her on her island and you get her backstory. Whereas Emily Rudd, because like this is a known story now, she could bring that into the character from an earlier point. And her dynamic the characters were just so much better. Like the rapport between her and Zoro and between Usopp and everybody is just a lot better than it was in the anime and the manga in the early issues. And again, it's because we know what it's like. You know, we're 25 years deep on these rapports, but there's just a much better, I guess, early iteration of them where now we can watch them grow, and they're not like going from blank slates into these ultra powerful pirates. Like they're fully realized people that are going to become these ultra powerful pirates.
Yeah, I agree that the way they characterize everybody I thought was really good. And I thought that most of the stuff they changed from the anime/manga, I was pleased with the change. Again, this is something we talked about in the chat, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess this is more for Griffin and Elliot, but you don't meet Garp until significantly later in the anime/manga, right?
If I remember correctly, it takes a long time to meet him, and
I haven't.
Yeah, it's a long time to meet him, and it does become clear like what his relationship with Luffy is.
Yeah,
but
it's like after
at this stage in Luffy's journey, other people absolutely do not know that Garp is his grandfather.
And I also liked how I felt like in the anime/manga, and again, Ferentino's, I don't think you've even seen them yet, but Kobe and the other guy, Helmeppo, what's that guy's name?
Helmeppo,
yeah. You don't meet them until like 400 episodes later. So I think it's cool seeing their kind of friendship grow, where Helmeppo's still kind of a doucher, and then he slowly kind of starts to become less of a doucher, which you don't ever see that in the anime/manga, but which you do see that in the live action. And then I liked how they showed how strong Garp is when he just completely shit on Luffy. Just Luffy had no shot. I was like, okay, that's cool, because you never really see him in action. Everybody's just scared of him. But you don't see him in action in the live action until then.
He straight up stomps Luffy, and Julia was like, "Oh, is Luffy gonna like die? Is he gonna get beat up?" And I was like, first off, he's not gonna die. Like, let me just get ahead of you there right now. He's not gonna die. But also, the level of disparity between their powers at this point in Luffy's journey is inconceivable. Garp is literal top tier characters, and Luffy is like, yeah, he's stronger than the East Blue, but everybody after the East Blue is gonna bitch him at this point.
And Elliot said, so Garp's first appearance was episode 68, which I'm not really sure where that is in terms of the story. Like if that's at Buggy, obviously it's gonna be later, but whatever. And then
Logtown, maybe.
I think Logtown
right before they go up. What's it called? Mountain, which is season 2, and so we're now officially getting into spoiler territory.
Like the Arlong arc. What how many episodes deep is that? And then regardless, the familiar relationship isn't until like 314, which is like past Scott Island, past a lot of stuff before you meet.
Yeah.
Before you find that he's his grandpa. It's not that.
I don't remember where 68 is, but Arlong and all that I think is like the 30s through the early 50s.
Okay, I thought it was like
and there's also a couple filler arcs in there too, like a couple 1 or 2 episode fillers that kind of expands the episode count. I think they go up the mountain in the 50s or 60s.
In the manga or in the anime?
In the anime. I don't know manga issues as well as I know anime episodes.
Okay, see, I thought it was like in the hundreds when Fishman Island was over. But that's not super important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that, like I said, all of the choreography with the fight scenes, even with Luffy, I thought was incredible, like top tier. Like the sword fighting, the kicks with Sanji, I thought all that stuff was incredible, and like not what I expected from like a Netflix anime, like reimagining, live action, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like
68 is right after Whiskey Peak. Okay, so that is after Fishman Island.
I love the like manga or anime transition scenes that they did. Like anytime they do like kind of like the shirt, like the eye focus, like how they like will do that, the like stare off. I thought that was done well with the transitions. And then whenever they introduced a new villain and had the wanted poster, I thought that was
really
was cool.
Well
too.
That was really cool. See, I really enjoyed when they'd have somebody like cut through or Arlong ate his or whatever. And then Mihawk came on the screen and they had his bounty crossed out. And you're like, oh, this dude fucks. Like, this is entirely different than everybody else we've seen. And then he immediately proves it.
So pumped to watch him cut down a fucking ship too. I was like, oh, I know he's gonna do it. I can't wait. And then and
I'm cool with the fact that they got rid of Krieg as one of the fights and had Mihawk just destroy him, because it always was kind of contrived that like they in the original they wake Mihawk up, he fucks up their ship, he kills most of their armada, but then somehow they make it to Bradier and he's like a little bit behind them just to like follow them and kill them. It's like he would have just done this initially. Like this, if Mihawk's going to go after them, they're not going to make it to Bradier, which they didn't. So I think that was a good change, particularly like, let's call it what it is. You could save a lot of CGI money by not having Krieg be part of that fight, because so much of his is like technical. He's got like gadgets and stuff that are part of it.
Weapons guy, right?
He's got the big gold armor with the spikes, and he blows stuff up and he lights things on fire, and Luffy's bleeding everywhere while he's fighting him, which again is an anime thing that I don't think necessarily would have translated really all that well. But I guess to that, Ferentinos, let's go into our lows. If you have any lows, what didn't please you about the adaptation?
Just wish we got Usopp's Pirates. It's more just like stuff that weren't that was left out.
We talked about this last week.
Did you listen to last episode?
Yeah. In this climate, you could not have a grown man hanging out with a bunch of kids. Just
Usopp's like, probably like 18 and hanging out with like 6-year-olds. Dicey. Real dicey.
Well, because I think also having like, which all the actors are like fully aged, so I guess like doing 6 seasons is not that bad. Or it's like if you want to continue and do a lot of One Piece, it's like, well, I feel like there's the fear of them aging and looking a lot older than their counterparts, but I feel like they all are like kind of look the role, which would have made the Usopp's Pirates a little worse. But I thought they're like, for the flashback scenes, all the child actors did such a good job. So I was like, oh, they probably could have got some like great casting kids to be like Usopp's Pirates, but it would have been a lot to get into. I thought the pacing was well. I don't know. I don't have a lot of complaints because there's been so many live actions that have just really failed to meet expectations or be good. Like Cowboy Bebop was not that great, despite me like really wanting to like it. We don't have to get into the Dragon Ball movie. That thing was a disgrace. Like there's just been so many live actions that have fallen flat on their face.
Avatar,
and to have one,
Last Airbender.
We're getting another shot at it. We're getting another shot at it.
It's like the Ba Sing Se. There was no Avatar movie.
There is no Avatar movie in Ba Sing Se. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I do have high hopes for the Avatar one after seeing the One Piece. Although I forget,
Mr. Kim is going to be Iroh. It's going to be so.
See, good. I don't have high hopes because of how the One Piece one went. Because the One Piece one was so directly associated with Oda. And they gave him like a supervisory role for the entire thing, whereas the Netflix one, I think,
that's what I was.
Yeah, there was creative differences, and so the creators are gone.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And
that bums me out.
So I saw something. Just no matter what, there's a contract where the like producers can actually change it. Like I saw something like that. Like despite getting the creators okay, like if they sign a contract, Netflix can still really do whatever the fuck they want.
Sure.
But I think that the only reason that they split on the Netflix deal was because they were offered a deal by like Nickelodeon or Viacom or whoever it was to do literally like their own studio to make a bunch of the new Avatar products. So I don't think it was a split because they were like, oh, fuck Netflix. I just think they literally accepted the job to do the Netflix live action show, but then also got basically a job offer to have their own creative studio, and they just went with that. So I do think it's still going to be good. I don't think that's a reason why it's going to suck. I'm still have a lot of high hopes for it. Because I think the creators have come out in support of it still, like after they left.
I think both.
Well, assuming it's making them money, I hope they support it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong there either. They're not going to be like, don't watch it. It sucks.
Don't watch this shit. Go watch old episodes that we've already gotten paid for.
Yeah. So both are true. They are creating like a whole Avatar Last Airbender universe, like doing a bunch of stuff like movies and everything. But the reason why they left to Netflix was because they didn't have creative control, which they would in the new venture or whatever.
Okay.
So
we're getting an animated movie soon following the gang in like their early 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Which I am so juiced for because I miss them so desperately.
Yeah. So anyways, we're getting very off topic.
We're getting in the weeds.
The low light for me, I thought I don't know necessarily how this would have worked with like the pacing, but the Usopp episode, I thought the scene in the anime with the beach was really cool, with them just like fucking up all the pirates on the beach,
like the mountain pass that they blocked off.
Yeah, and then I mean, Elliot mentioned Django, like he was a cool villain. Not having him, I understand why they did it because it probably would have added. I mean, a ton of stuff with actors and fight scenes and stuff. And I thought the way they did it in the night in the mansion, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I was looking forward to when Zoro can't get up the hill. Slippery. It was so funny.
To your point about the mansion, I do like how they turned the episode a little bit more like horror vibe.
Yeah, it was
or like a thriller, like a serial killer was chasing them. I think that was one of the good translations. But I mean, not having Django, definitely a bummer, particularly because it would have been very funny to watch a dude who's like a Steven Tyler, Michael Jackson combo appear on screen in 2023. People would have been very confused as to why this existed. Yeah, but I would have been super into it.
Yeah.
They definitely, and I think you could see it a little bit when Usopp's trying to like think of when they're all putting their boots on the barrel at the end when they're all saying like what they want to be, and he's like has to think about it and is like, I want to be a brave warrior. And it's like, well, we didn't get that much Usopp backstory in reality. Like he definitely got screwed a little bit compared to the other characters who got way more of their child counterparts getting screen time. Yeah,
like Sanji, there's 2 episodes for the whole Barati thing, which I know there like more happened in that than just Sanji, but Usopp only got the 1 episode.
Yeah,
loved the cooking scenes with Sanji, just like the prep scenes and everything. I thought that was really well done.
He did. Taz Skylar did like actual chef training.
Did
maybe
he?
I'm wrong. Elliot said Usopp got 2. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought they only gave him 1, but maybe I'm wrong.
2 flashbacks?
2 episodes. I thought they only gave him 1, but maybe
I think it was 2 episodes, but he got like a really minor amount of actual like screen time in the episodes, as I remember.
I thought it was really
which kind of makes sense because he's he is the most supporting member of the Straw Hats.
He doesn't offer
like long period.
He really doesn't offer anything. Even like his sniper stuff isn't super helpful.
Yeah, like, until we have scenes at Water 7 where all the stuff that happens between him and Luffy that we won't need to get into because I don't know how much Ferentinos even knows.
Yeah,
like there's good stuff that's going to happen with his character arc, but it takes him longer to build up.
Yeah, and like the stuff he built for Nami was cool in Alabasta.
Yep, the weather weapons.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. So
when we start to see his ingenuity a lot, and that is one of the things that we kind of miss out on by not having the fight on the hill as much because you don't see his ingenuity as much, or even the Arlong Park fight where he uses the different shooting stars and all that, and then hits him with a hammer. Like we don't see him knock him out with the hammer. To the
season
point
two-
about the child actors, this is not a low for me, but I just thought it was a little bit funny. The fact that like they're on the island for like 70 days or whatever, and Sanji and Zeph are starving, and Zeph's actor definitely looks worse off after 70 days.
Yeah.
But the kid who's playing Sanji is like, let's go. He's a little fat. You're a little fat boy.
Yeah.
And he's still a little fat boy after that entire time.
I was curious
You
if they were
can't be
going to
like
make
any
his
child
cheeks like
actor.
swollen.
Right. In the comic, like he looks like a skull and bones. Like he looks like he's gonna die.
Yeah.
In the live action, he looks like he's been eating good the entire time.
It's like
Have you seen
Hugo.
Christian Bale? You're
It's
going
like
to
Lost.
starve yourself.
You guys watch Lost?
Long time ago when it aired.
But it's like the guy, like the massive guy in Lost. It didn't lose any weight the
Right.
entire 6 years of being trapped on an island.
That's true. That's true. I do remember people being like, "What are they eating on this island?" that
Yeah.
hasn't
How is
lost
he
the
not losing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
My only
Season two.
low.
Oh, go for it.
I don't know if I have. So I don't really. I mean, like calling it a low is like barely a thing because this is me just wanting more. I thought 8 episodes wasn't enough. I wanted a 10 or 12 episode season. They did a really good job condensing things, and they did a really good job moving things around in the plot, like the Garp stuff, so you kind of know what's coming later. But I would have loved a little bit more time for each episode to breathe and each plot line to breathe, particularly because if they stick with 8 episodes, by the time we get to other arcs that are much longer arcs where a lot happens, they're going to have to cut out so much. So when the writer's strike is done and when the screen actors strike is done and they start producing the next season, I hope they do like a 12 episode order, because I think 8 episodes, there's just not going to be a good cutoff point without cutting a ton of content out.
And I felt like after Fishman Island was a good break. I was trying to think of what would be a good break for season 2, and it's probably Alabasta Crocodile, but like so much stuff happens after that. Like if that's what you're limiting the seasons to, there's going to be 45 seasons of the live action. It's going to be going on until past When We're Dead.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. So I was in the discussion threads on the One Piece subreddit I tried to stick to the anime only ones because I wanted to see what their thoughts were on it, and people were still spoiling things. So I just ended up going to the usual discussion threads.
Yeah,
a lot of people think it'll probably end with Alabasta.
I mean,
people were like plotting out how you could do each episode.
The Giants.
8 episodes, you're really gonna have to rush it.
Yeah.
So even 10, just 2 more episodes, 2 more hours of content would be incredible. 12 would be amazing.
I feel like getting to the Grand Line would be an entire episode, just like the whale.
Logtown, however it's pronounced, has to be an episode because they set up a ton of stuff.
Yeah, Chopper. Oh yeah, gotta get Chopper. Yeah,
Chopper.
Elliot's saying in the chat they should cut Chopper entirely. If they cut Chopper entirely, I'm out on the show. I'm out on the show. He is the best character.
Why? He's literally a member of the crew. They can't cut an actual member of the crew.
Not only can they not cut a member of the crew, and he's saying stuff about the budget, they're probably going to end up having. They'll probably do like a Muppet or something. I don't know.
Well, they're going to change.
He is the way for this show to make money, because if you turn Chopper into Baby Yoda,
a little fluffy doll, or something.
Oh my God, One Piece is going to blow up in this country if Chopper is the One Piece version of Baby Yoda. He already kind of is, like globally.
Yeah,
no,
I have Chopper stuffed animals in Durwood at my mother's house because he's so fucking cute.
That's
Elliot
awesome.
wants the old Yeller Chopper before
he is vital to the plot.
What a terrible, what a terrible take from our producer. This is why we don't let him on every episode, because he just be saying shit.
He's literally their doctor. I mean, come on. Anyways,
he's not vital to the plot. You're not vital to the plot.
He's worth an Andy Serkis budget to do the CGI for his face.
I agree with you, and I think we should write Netflix.
Listen, if they made a live action Scooby-Doo movie, they can make Chopper into One Piece.
They made 2 live action Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Let's follow that money.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys specifically want to see for season 2? Anything you want to see more of, less of, something that you think is going to put them over the edge?
Vivi.
Oh, Vivi. I'm very curious who they cast for Vivi.
because you guys are horny or because she's vital to the plot?
Well, she's really important to the whole plot of Alabasta. Like you weren't sure if she was going to.
The way you said that sounded horny, so I feel like that's no matter. Yeah, I mean, she's a big character.
She's Miss Wednesday. You gotta know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying too much now, maybe for season 2, but
no, we said at the top of the episode we were going to have some spoilers for anybody that's watching or listening after the fact. Hopefully, the second we started talking about this, they jumped out of it. Obviously, there's a lot of spoilers that we need to avoid for you. So,
have you seen the crocodile thing? The theory that it's a chick.
That crocodile is a chick.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I want to watch Luffy beat the dog shit out of a chick on screen. I also don't know that I don't want to see that.
I don't know what I want to see.
Feminism, we live in 2023, you live in the future, but that might get some blowback.
Well, you're not far enough to understand that theory. Oh, well, I saw it online, so
I don't even think
You can't go online, dude.
I am far enough. Ellie, you're gonna have to message me separately because I am far enough and I don't understand the theory. But
I have a buddy, and maybe he's gonna listen to or watch this, who keeps texting me about his theories about what the One Piece are, and I'm like, this is Rigo, who Ferentinos, you know.
I thought
and I'm like, first off, I'm nowhere even near you in this saga. Like, I took a literal 10-year break so I could let episodes build up and tried to avoid spoilers. So shut the fuck up. Second off, don't be tweeting shit about how you think you solved what the One Piece is when you're reading fan theories online. You didn't solve shit. Hundreds of other people who don't have social lives are solving what the One Piece is.
That's fair. That's fair.
While we're at it, though, before we move on to the final segment of this episode, do you guys have any theories on what the One Piece is, just off the top of your head?
I can promise you this is not from anything. I think there is no One Piece. I think the journey is the One Piece.
Yeah, the friends you met along the way.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe, which I know it's like a hugely like popular thing people say, that the real whatever was the friends we made along the way. But
is that actually
that is my belief? If that like that's the central theme of
Luffy wants friends.
Of One Piece. It's camaraderie, it's friendship, it's freedom. Like, I think Gold Roger just wanted to create an era of people pursuing freedom. That's all I think it is.
Is that a popular theory? Because I'm not on online with One Piece.
It's been a theory as long as One Piece has been a thing, because people always have the idea, like, if you say that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you have to also consider the pot of gold is what you did to get to the end of the rainbow. And normally I hate those theories because I think it completely divorces you from like the idea of an end game. But with One Piece, I think it makes the most sense.
Well, it's a 30-year TV show, so I think it does make a lot of sense.
And I think it's no matter what, it's not going to be enough for people if it is some item or some like something physical that you get. So I think it's better if it's something that's just like the entire central theme of One Piece. But we don't need to get into it now. You know, we still have probably 5 to 10 years to go in the manga.
King of the Pirates.
Yeah, I'm wearing my you can't see it on the camera, but I'm wearing my Pirate King bracelet that Julia made for me.
I like it.
A very sweet gift from her after we finished One Piece. I think we've talked about One Piece enough, though. I think I've said One Piece enough to the point where it no longer sounds real in my ears. Elliot, super producer, we're going to do our final segment of the episode. We have a Pokemon thing that he's been pushing so hard for us to do for weeks, but Modai was out of town. He's a big Pokemon guy. Ferentinos was out of town. He's a big Pokemon guy. I was here. I'm not the biggest Pokemon guy. So we're going to do it now. Elliot, you want to jump on the audio and explain what we're about to do?
Yeah, let me explain the rules. So this is
text Andrew to hop on.
I know, yeah. I told him in the comments that he should stick around for the end of the show, so who knows. So this is Who's That Pokemon NBA edition.
Who's that Pokemon?
So I've created so I picked an NBA team, and then I picked Pokemon that represent the players of that team. And I'm just gonna put up a picture of those 5 Pokemon, and you guys have to figure out which NBA team is represented here.
I've never been more
Okay.
excited for anything in my entire life.
So I have,
All right,
yeah,
so you're going to share your screen with us. We're going to put it up on the screen.
yeah.
Modai, if you want to say the names of all of the Pokemon that do appear so that anybody listening on Spotify or any other Apple or podcast platform knows who we're talking about. And then I'm probably going to let you guys take the lead on this because I don't know shit about shit, but we'll go from there.
Any recurring guests?
see if this
If we had
works.
done this, like a year ago, the two posters I had in the background, one was a Naruto poster, one was the OG 151. That would have worked so much better, but that's okay.
In hindsight, yes, that would have made a lot of sense.
That's all right.
But we can do this. I mean, there's 30 NBA teams. By the time we get through all of them, there might be 32 NBA teams. We can
Good
continue
point.
doing this, and you can toss those posters up whenever you want, buddy.
That's true.
All right, hold on. All right, I'm gonna try to share. Let me see what happens here. Did that work?
Uh,
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
okay,
it is up on
okay.
the screen right now. Let me turn
All right,
something
all
else
right,
off
so-
real quick. All right.
The point guard's a rat. So let's think.
So
So we have
Modai, who are the 5
Sure.
Pokemon on screen, Modai?
all right. So we got Rattata, we got
Rattata,
Mankey, we got
Hitmonlee.
Poliwhirl, Hitmonchan, and Rhydon.
Okay.
I was wrong about so many.
You didn't know that? That's embarrassing.
No, I knew what it was.
I'll be honest, guys. I thought that was Nidoking in the background, so that's why I'm not the one doing this.
Who throws a lot of okay. I have a guess.
Draymond. Okay.
I was thinking the Kings because De'Aaron Fox feels like a Rattata. Isn't Sabonis like a huge elbow guy? Doesn't he throw a bunch of bows? Could he be?
He does. He
Hitmonchan?
gets a little bit violent.
Yeah. Do they have does Sabonis play the 5? I'm trying to think who Rhydon would be. And this is a starting 5, right? To confirm, it's a team starting 5.
Yeah, I mean, I can't promise that like this is like their core starting 5, but like this is at least 5 of the like top 6 players on
I'm
a
gonna
team.
go.
Just to
Grizzlies.
confirm, this is a current starting 5, right? This isn't like the Jailblazers or something like that.
One of current.
Okay.
I feel like they got a lot of Grizzlies vibes. Like this looks like a rugged team. They just got Dylan Brooks. I feel like Hitmonchan is like, it's not a gun, but he's showing off his weapons right now in public. Maybe a little John Morant there. He likes to shoot.
Yeah.
I guess don't really know who'd be the Poliwhirl.
Trying to think of what the like Poliwhirl's like a psychic water Pokemon, or is he fighting? I actually don't remember. I think he's fighting.
I don't
think
know,
he's-
but I
I think he's
want to make
fighting
sure
water.
no hints from Elliot because I'm racking my brain at the moment.
All right, let me pull up a list of teams. I think this is.
Honestly, it's hard to just not match them to the NBA teams.
I got it for you guys. I sent it your way right now.
all right.
So we think there's got to be something to do with punching. We already compared their point guard to a rat, so that's not the nicest thing in the world, but I kind of get it.
Oh, this is helpful. So I go ahead. Wait, did you have a guess?
Part of me thinks it could be the Bucks because I'm comparing Grayson Allen to a rat, but I don't know. And Mankey feels vaguely Drew Holiday-ish, which I really don't want that to come across like a race thing, but like
feel
big
like-
hands, very, very quick on the court, can definitely pick a lot of pockets.
I feel like it's the Sixers. Rattata is Tyrese Maxey. Mankey is James Harden. Rhydon is Joel Embiid. Between Tobias and PJ Tucker, like Tobias, I wouldn't necessarily equate him specifically with Hitmonchan, but he's a skinny guy. PJ Tucker's a thick boy. Just throwing that out there. Thoughts? And how do we do this? Do we do like official guesses and he tells us no? Like, or do we have like 3 guesses? How are we doing it?
I'm gonna stick with.
I
the
think we
Grizzlies
should each
right
get
now.
one guess. I think
All
we
right.
should each get one guess. And then
I like it.
Do you want me to
And then-
tell you if the guesses are right or like you make your guesses and then I just put up the answer? I have a picture that has the faces on it.
So I
Like,
think we each give one guess, and then you tell us if one of us is right, and then if not, then we keep guessing. I say.
Okay.
Okay, try to get it right.
All right. Unless it takes too long, and then we just get frustrated. It's literally unless it's our 30th guess.
Elliot, I am genuinely stumped. This is so much more difficult than I thought it would be.
I'm official Sixers official guess. You going? I like the Grizzlies one from Ferentino, so I can see
I'm
that.
going Grizzlies. My official guess.
Griffin, what do you got?
Who did I say before? I said the Bucks.
You said the Bucks.
I'm gonna say the Bucks. I'm gonna stick with what I guessed earlier. Are any of us right, Elliot?
None of you are right.
Fuck.
Dang it.
Who's the closest?
Who's the
Yeah.
closest?
Yeah.
Modi is the closest.
Okay, so Sixers. All right. So if Modi is the closest with the Sixers, what could he mean by closest? Geographically,
Well-
played for other teams?
I think it's
Did he
same
mean-
division.
Wait,
His thought process is the most closely aligned with what I was thinking.
so like, I mean, I mentioned the Kings. Should I guess the Kings?
I mean, you can guess whoever you want. We're
Well-
already wrong.
Make sure that you can identify all 5 players, right? It's not just a vibe of the whole team. Each Pokemon represents a specific NBA player on that team.
Okay.
That's
I'll tell
tough.
you right now,
I'm
I've
gonna go
never
with the
looked at
Clippers.
Lauri Markkinen and been like, this man's a Pokemon.
Wait, so real quick, players that changed teams. Is this based on current NBA rosters or last season's? And because I'm just looking at like the Phoenix Suns lineup that it still has Chris Paul, so that's why I'm wondering.
I don't remember well enough to
Oh, you're right.
make
This
sure
is
that I'm
last season.
answering that.
This is Bradley Beal. You're right. I
Okay.
assumed this was based on the most recent ones, but this is a wrong sheet because of that.
Yeah, this is.
All right, how about this? Are one of those players Kevin Durant?
That would just give you the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
trying a
actually.
different strategy here.
I do like the Suns. I was thinking them too, because I feel like DeAndre Ayton is right on. Kevin Durant feels like a Hitmonchan. Devin
Chris Paul
Booker's-
I guess Chris Paul's not there anymore. Bradley Beal's a bit of
definitely-
a rat.
They're all rats. They're
all rats. It's a team of rats.
yeah,
And then Josh Okogie and Devin Booker. But
yeah.
Hitmon, is this Hitmonchan or Hitmonlee? This is Hitmonchan, right?
That's Chan. Yeah, it's Jackie
Hitmonchan
Chan.
looks vaguely like Devin Booker. And I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment, but I could see a little bit of Devin Booker and Hitmonchan.
Because they're both fighting types. In the playoffs last year, Durant and Booker just went bananas. Like Chris Paul's a rat, Bradley Beal's a rat. The Poliwhirl is the only one that I can't place. Like Josh Okogie, sure, he could be a Poliwhirl. Or who is there? Did Josh Okogie start for them last year?
He did last year.
I honestly forgot.
Post
about that.
trade.
Post trade,
um,
yeah.
Because before it was Bridges and Cam Johnson.
I also like I'm trying to think of teams that start like a big traditional center because that's got to be Rhydon. Like the Pacers, a Miles Turner.
Could it be the Nuggets?
Nugget, Jokic.
Feels
I
really
think-
disrespectful if Jamal Murray is rat-a-tat from one Canadian to another.
Maybe he's Menke and KCP is Rattata.
That is
I
true.
actually kind of like the Nuggets. All right,
So I'm
let's do it.
thinking maybe Warriors, just because
Kevon
We're
Looney.
I feel like
named every team.
Mankey's a good defender. It just has the good defender stance there, but he's undersized.
But his
Yeah.
stats, he's got high attack, low defense.
And I
Steph
feel like
Curry is
if you
just-
were going to have like an Andrew Wiggins, that would be Machamp. I don't know why, but I feel like Andrew Wiggins is Machamp, and Machamp's not on this.
I don't think Jimmy Butler is a Machamp. Like he needs to be significantly more muscular to be a Machamp.
Dog, Jimmy Butler's a Machoke, okay? Because he got that championship belt.
All right, Elliot, I'm
Technically,
going
he
Warriors
doesn't.
is my guess. Rattata, Curry, Hitmon, Chan is Thompson. I'm gonna go Mankey is Draymond, and then Wiggins is Poliwhirl, and Looney as Rhydon. It's my final answer.
I'm going to say the Atlanta Hawks.
I'm gonna guess the Denver Nuggets.
All right. Well, you guys still failed.
What if it's the Kings? What if it's the first team I named? What if it's the Kings?
All right, tell us who it is, Elliot.
No,
Wait, can we get a guess?
Aaron.
Can we get a guess? Can Andrew guess?
Oh
here?
yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's
see if
let
Andrew has
in the
this.
chat. What Andrew? Who do you think it is?
I'm gonna be mad if it's the Kings, and that was my literal first guess.
And we just got to fill air a little bit while he types something in. I am disappointed in us, unless it does end up being the Kings, in which case that's on us for dissuading Modi from picking that.
Well, no one. You guys are good. No one dissuaded
This
me.
game's a
All right.
lot harder than I thought it
I'm
was going to be.
worried that I'm going to put the
So
answer.
much
You guys
harder.
are going to think mine is terrible, like that I did a terrible job. But I feel like you guys just forgot that this team existed.
Andrew
Andrew
says
said
the
Wolves.
Wolves for no
No
reason. We
reason.
just haven't named them yet.
All right, hold on. Here's my solution.
If
Oh,
it's the
man.
Wolves and that's the reason that he picked them, I'm off the pod and Andrew's on it.
The Pelicans.
Pelicans?
All right, you're gonna need to sell me on.
Yeah, tell
Why
us
is Zion?
Because he's
That
an
actually makes-
bulldozer.
That actually makes the most sense. I was thinking, why is CJ McCollum on Hitmonchan?
See, I feel like Zion Snorlax.
No, because he's not slow. He's all about that power with the one hit kill.
He's absolutely slow when he can't take the court.
Well, no, the problem is he's always hurt, but when he plays, actually,
And then
Is Mariah Mills the trainer?
Okay, all right. So why is JV Polyworld?
because he hypnotizes you with that slow
The
slow
spin.
3-point shot and that pump fake.
Okay.
hypnosis. Okay.
And then Brandon Ingram, he's all limbs, he's all arms. That's why I chose Mankey for him.
Okay.
Calderon from Rattata actually, I think, makes the most sense of anything.
I forgot Calderon was a starter.
That's not Calderon.
It's not.
What's his name?
Altuve,
Yeah.
right? Is that his name?
Would you say Altuve? Altuve plays for the Rockets.
Jose
no.
Altuve? You mean the Astros
The
second
baseball
baseman?
player?
Yeah.
Astros. Sorry, not the
Who
Rockets.
am I thinking of? Who's the little guy who's always stealing
That's
inbound?
That's Jose Calderon.
That's Calderon.
That's not Jose Calderon. He played for the Raptors.
Wait, Mike.
A lot of people have played for the Raptors. Oh, you're right. It isn't Jose Calderon. It's what is his name? We're being real racist because I think it is a Hispanic name.
Yeah,
Is it not? Is it not Calderon? Am I just? Yeesh.
I made this like 2 months
idea
ago.
who it is.
So
Oh, it's Alvarado.
It's Alvarado.
Yeah.
I got the
Alvarado.
Jose part. I got the Jose
Yeah.
part right.
Man, I don't like. So here's the thing: if Elliot
Yeah.
doesn't know the name of the guy, I don't think that counts.
I did when I made it.
Did you? No.
Good point by Andrew. Why are you using?
You're
Alvaro?
using, yeah, that is a good point.
Is that a hip?
Well, because he's also a center. He's like a big dude.
He is a big dude.
He's not a small dude. All right. I
Good
don't
seg.
love
Good
that
seg.
this is I'm not gonna say you're wrong, Elliot, but I don't necessarily think you're right.
Can we
That's
match?
fine.
JV and Zion
and
being
then I
switched
tried
just
to
doesn't
think
make sense to me.
it's
I
a
don't think
Pokemon.
Poliwhirl is a I don't know. I don't know.
What Pokemon would you have as JV? Because I picked the team. I said, all right, what's like a good team to pick, and then I picked the Pokemon.
I feel like he would be like executor. 'Cause he's tall.
That was on my list.
Yeah.
See, I'd even go as far as like a Blastoise or something for JV.
I can see that a little bit. The thicker boy. I can see that.
Maybe even Primate. I
Mr.
don't know.
Mime.
Mr. Mime. That'd be a fun one.
Is
I
there
don't know
like-
who in the league is, or who's
So,
big circle
this is-
Golem. Maybe Golem for JV.
So I'm gonna say something that is a little bit controversial, but Delonte West is Mr. Mime. Can you guys put that together?
Oh, because he
Oh,
fucks
yeah, I got
LeBron's mom, and so does Mr. Mime and Ash Ketchum's mom.
Yep.
That's gross. That's a gross comparison. Also, yikes.
Listen, we can cut that. I know we're live, but for the recording, we can cut that.
We're not gonna cut that.
Oh, that's
We're
gonna be
gonna
our
keep
most
that.
shared clip.
Yeah, we're gonna clip that.
Oh man. All right. Well, look, Elliot, thanks for the effort in the game. I could just be bitter right now and that I'm not accepting the ones that you put in there. Maybe they were incredible. The fact that none of us or Andrew got it in 7 picks or 8 picks or whatever it was.
Not great.
Pretty not great, but that's an indictment on us, you know?
Yeah, I'm not putting that on Elliot. I think if I didn't think of the Pelicans, I think if that team had crossed my mind, I could have put that. Like I thought Alvarado, I almost said Calderon again. Alvarado for Rattata, I thought is perfect because he's such a rat on the basketball court with the behind the back.
I really thought it was Grayson Allen.
That's also a good guess.
Elliot, this is actually really good because obviously 30 times 5, you're gonna have 150. So we're gonna knock Mew off this list. Mew's not gonna be an option. So you're gonna be able to use everybody one time.
There you go.
That would be real tough.
No repeats, buddy. No repeats. Yeah. You've got to use everyone one time. And if it's not a great comparison, we're going to drag you for it because that's the role of a producer, getting bullied by the talent.
That's true.
I want to say thank you to Andrew. Quality comparison. Thank you.
Yeah. And Andrew, thanks for being here. And anybody else for being here. We appreciate you tuning in, whether you're watching live or listening or watching after the fact. Andrew's asking me before we get out of here, who's my NBA Machoke? I think he means who in the NBA am I most attracted to? And it's Kelly Oubre. It's always been Kelly Oubre.
I was going to say, or who do you want to have choke you out the most? But I'm guessing it's the same answer.
It might not be.
Kuzma?
Might not be. I'd probably have to think about it a little bit. I mean, look, if it gets John Wall back in the league, I'll take that bullet. Yeah, the DM agrees. It's Kelly Oubre. He knows me. He knows what I'm into. It's the most beautiful man in basketball. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get out of here?
Not Kelly Oubre.
Not Kelly Oubre.
It's homophobic. As always, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Ferentinos, thank you for being here and making it back from your long vacation. Modai, thank you for being here and for honestly disappointing me a little bit with your Pokemon knowledge. Elliot, thank you so much for putting that game together and for producing, as always. If you're not following us on Twitter or on Instagram, go follow us on both at Give Go Show. If you're not following us on TikTok, new videos almost daily. At the Give and Go Show on TikTok. You can also find it on our YouTube page, on our Spotify, on any of our different social channels. Everything links to everything else. As always, we'll be back next Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Hopefully we'll talk about basketball next week. Appreciate everybody being here. We will see you next time.
Peace.
Adios.